Hello and welcome to my channel, Saying Yes to Life. My name is Delisa Renadeo, and I'd like to welcome you to my garden here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. You know, when we look around at our world, we see systems in collapse, and things that we used to trust and rely upon have proven themselves not so reliable anymore. Things like the governments, our education systems, medical systems, financial systems. Some of us may just wish we could go back to the good old days when it seemed that the world was actually working. But we're now becoming more aware that things really weren't as they seemed back in the good old days. Corruption isn't new. It was just hidden better from us. But now we're beginning to see evidence wherever we look that the old established systems are actually collapsing. And of course, this can cause a lot of fear, uneasiness, and even panic for some of us. For others of us, we see it as inevitable, necessary, and ultimately positive. But no matter where we find ourselves in our perspective, we are smack in the middle of a time of transition on a global scale. Now, one of my favorite teachers in life is Pam Gregory. Have you heard of her? She's a well-known and well-loved astrologer who has a wonderful YouTube channel called Pam Gregory Astrologer, and I will put that link in the show notes. Her focus is primarily on how the astrology of our times is pointing to global circumstances, not so much personal circumstances. And she's been tracking patterns in the heavens that reflect the energies that are affecting us individually as well as globally. And she has been predicting what is happening now for the past couple of years. She likes to say, it's happening right on time. Now, she doesn't pretend to know exactly the details of what's happening, but she could see from the energies that the old systems are in collapse. Now, one of the most powerful aspects in astrology right now is that Pluto is now in the sign of Aquarius, where it will be for roughly the next 20 years. And the significance of this is hugely powerful. Remember the age of Aquarius? Well, here we come. It indicates a shift from power being held by the few to power of the people, from power above to power in community. And for this to happen, the old systems have to collapse, as they are doing. So what do we need to do? Well, first, we don't need to panic, and we don't need to take down the systems. They're collapsing already from within. Secondly, we need to remember what is ours to do. What is ours to do? Well, we need to keep ourselves grounded and centered, and to take care of ourselves and our families and our personal responsibilities, no matter what else is happening in the grand picture of things. And one thing about Pam is she doesn't only tell us about the patterns that we're experiencing, but she also shares her great wisdom about how to think about it, how to handle it, how to approach it. And one of the things that she says is, when enough people choose love over fear, the old control systems simply can't hold their shape anymore. She also says, stay in love. Stay in your heart space. That is where your power base is now. I agree 100% with her. Rather than focusing our attention on the drama of the systems that are in collapse, which keeps us in fear, it's most helpful to focus on the new world we want to experience. And when we focus on this, we begin to see signs of it emerging within ourselves and in our communities. Pam likes to use the metaphor of the caterpillar transforming to a butterfly. That's one of my favorites too. We are in the middle of this process right now, and holding our vision of the emerging butterfly within ourselves and spreading to our communities and our world will not only help us feel better, it also helps to support this amazing process by holding and emitting the frequencies of love, cooperation, joy, gratitude. Another great visionary is Barbara Marx Hubbard. I think she died in 2019. And she also used the metaphor of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. But she added some details that make it even more interesting. As she says, when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it doesn't just gently change shape. The old caterpillar body is actually dissolving inside the cocoon into a kind of biological soup, a mush. It's messy, it's unrecognizable, it's not pretty. And inside that mush are these tiny groups of cells called imaginal cells. Don't you love that word? Imaginal cells. They already carry the blueprint of the butterfly, even while they're still inside the caterpillar. And so while everything familiar is dissolving, those imaginal cells are surviving. They're multiplying. They find each other and they begin to organize. So the butterfly isn't built after the breakdown, it's built right in the middle of it. And that's what makes this moment so meaningful. When our world feels like mush, confusing and unstable and falling apart, it may mean the deeper pattern of the new world is quietly forming from the inside. And of course, we don't hear about that in the nightly news. We're not just witnesses to the collapse, we are the imaginal cells of what comes next. We are the imaginal cells of what comes next. Holding our values of love, gratitude, joy, creativity, sharing, coherence, we're building the energetic structure for the new world that is forming. Another great holder of this vision is Charles Eisenstein, who wrote a wonderful book called The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. Isn't that a great title? A great image? The more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. Keeping our focus on this more beautiful world rather than following the moment by moment drama of the world that is collapsing is one of the ways to support the new world that is emerging. Pam tells a story about when she had just graduated from college and she decided to travel to Nepal by herself. And she was just a young woman traveling alone, and she decided in order to be safe, she would take a martial arts course. At the end of the course, they had to break a board with the side of their hand. Yikes! And the instructor told them, don't focus on the board or you're really going to hurt your hand. Focus 6 inches below the board. She did, and it worked. And she broke the board. So we don't need to take the systems down. They are deconstructing themselves from within. Our job is simpler, more humble, and maybe braver. We need to keep our focus on the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. Stay in love even when the world gets loud. Stay in responsibility even when the world feels unstable. Stay in community, even when others get polarized. Stay curious, awake, kind, and grounded. And remember, we are the imaginal cells surrounded by the mush, and what is forming under this mess is something beautiful. And we get to participate in this amazing process. Wait! Did you say the caterpillar turns into mush? Ugh! I was imagining it to be more dignified, more like a spa experience. No spa, Sparky. More like sacred soup. So, the world now, it's sacred soup? Well, that's one way of putting it. Oh, good, because if it's soup, that means it's still cooking and it's not ruined yet. Exactly. And the imaginal cells are the recipe. I like being part of the recipe. I like being part of the recipe too. And so do I. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy being an imaginal cell in this more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. hold my hands over my heart. Wait! Did you say the caterpillar turns into mush? Because I was imagining something much more dignified, more like a spa experience. No spa, Sparky. More like sacred soup. So the world right now is sacred soup? That's one way to put it. Oh, good. Because if it's soup, that means it's still cooking. Not done yet and not ruined. Exactly. And the imaginal cells are the recipe. I like being part of the recipe. Me too. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy this process of being an imaginal cell in this emerging world, which can be much more beautiful than we could have even imagined it.
Wow.